the scoring champ from the top against Marion Durant pull-up jumper off the rim.
Limitless Range.
This is the Limitless Range podcast. I am your host, Corey Chandler, and I am joined by my co-host, Peter Coleman, a.k.a. Petey Pod Low. As usual, you can find us on Twitter and Instagram at One Limitless Range, or you can find us on our website at limitlessrangepodcast.com. We got Petey Pod Low back in the building. Pablo, whatever you want to call him.
It feels good
back
to
from
not
Hawaii.
be back. I mean, I'm missing the beach.
Back from Hawaii.
Beautiful blue water and the sand.
Yeah, how was it, man? How was your trip?
Oh, it was a blast, dude. I had an amazing time. So
Yeah.
I loved it out there. It was so much fun. Got a little sunburnt, surprisingly. The sun is way different out there.
Oh, yeah.
So it was cool.
No, for sure, man. The trip looked fun. Appreciated the call in last week. Still wanted to jump on board. I like that.
You know, I had to, man. I had to get that in there. So I was missing you guys. Not that much, but
yeah. No, I bet.
Hawaii is
man.
a lot. Just too much fun.
Yep. No, for sure. But we're glad you're back, man. Last week, Doug did a great job jumping in for you. And, we did our announcement that we had talked about the week before.
Oh, yeah.
So, give
away that jersey.
Yeah, handing out that jersey for, the trivia question for the, the raffle and the people jumping on board and tweeting us in or writing us however they want to do it, giving us the answer to.
You need a KD fan to win it.
Yeah.
Get that Sonics throwback. That jersey's sick.
That would be sick. So I figured we would just, welcome you back from Hawaii and open up the first trivia question. Give the listeners an opportunity to write us in right off the bat here.
I like it. Let's do it. My man. What do you got? You got some cool or
man.
what?
I got a little idea, man. In your honors. Week 4, we've been doing this for a long time, so I figured I'd give it to you a little bit here. So this is the trivia question for you guys. Give us
dun, dun, dun.
Right? Give us your answer. Like I said, find out however you want to. You can write us on our website, DM us on Instagram, on Twitter, however you want to give us the answer. But you get the answer correct.
Make it private, right?
Make it private. You don't want everybody, seeing your answer, but give us your answer, and if you get it correct, then your name's going to go on the raffle for that, it's in February, the All-Star Weekend podcast we're going to do. We're going to do the drawing.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Yeah, so the more times, you listen to the podcast, the more questions you get right, the more chances you have of winning that jersey of your choice. So the question is, in our first podcast, you talked about that you would rather have... You would rather have the center from CBC instead of Looney from Golden State. You still hold that true?
Yeah, I'm sticking by my word.
Okay, so for our listeners, your trivia question is to go find us. CBC is our local community college here. That's going to be Columbia Basin College. Go to their men's basketball. That's going to be the Columbia Basin Hawks men's basketball roster. We looked it up. There's only one center. He doesn't look quite as good as Looney, but maybe, we haven't watched him play, so we'll have to go check him out. Maybe he can space the floor for you. Go give us his first and last name. That's the Columbia Basin Hawks men's basketball center. Give us his first and last name, and you'll get that name in that raffle for that jersey.
Let's do it.
Let's do it, man.
Free jersey, man. Who can complain about that? Any jersey you want?
Absolutely. Pass it on to awesome. Pass it on to your friends and have them listen as well. So, right on.
We're going to do this little segment we like to call Contender Pretender.
Yeah.
So we'll take turns naming teams and break down whether we think that this team can actually contend for a title, or if they're just a pretender and masquerading as a title contender.
I like that, man. Did you think about that when your toes were deep in the sand in Hawaii last week, or what?
I don't know. I might have heard that somewhere. I don't even know, but I like it.
It's sick, man. I loved it when you brought it to my attention. Only to make it fair, both of us obviously have the Warriors winning a championship this year. Basically a lock.
Yeah, man.
Pretty close to a lock at least.
Kevin Durant drop 51 on Kawhi without Steph, without Draymond.
All right, we're tired of you talking about KD. Let's move on.
It's pretty obvious that if they're healthy,
For
they're
sure.
gonna win.
So when it comes to this contender versus pretender thing, let's just eliminate the Warriors. Let's just say the Warriors team was non-existent.
Yeah,
Would this team be able to contend for a championship this year?
I like it.
Okay. Let me throw one at you, man.
Let me hear it.
Oh, the Milwaukee Bucks.
Ooh, man, I love Greek. I love Greek. Pretender.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Wow. Damn. Why is that?
I have to see. I can't see a Greek Freak, a Ben Simmons, a player that can't shoot. I just can't see them being your. I can't see them leading you to a title.
No.
I just can't see it right now. The way the game is played, LeBron is an inside player, but he can also hit occasionally, These guys shoot 0 jumpers,
Right.
Well, Greek Freak tries, but he's shooting like 11% from 3. It's like, come on. So, come playoff time...
He's too swole now.
Yeah, right. I just feel like come playoff time, they're going to crowd that paint. They're going to take charges. People are going to sacrifice their body. They're going to frustrate Greek. He's going to have turnovers. And as much as I love him, and then there's some issues with Chris Middleton, right? Like, what's going on with that? He's getting benched or something?
Yeah, for not playing defense?
I mean, if your second best player's, like, not even on board, like, how are you going to be a contender,
I'm with that. I would say...
never been a big believer in Eric Bledsoe either.
Yeah.
He's playing pretty good, but...
I'm sure he'll get injured at some point.
Yeah. So I would bet money that they don't win a championship.
Yeah. I would agree with you, man. I think I'm with you as well. I think before the year, I still didn't have them in my, in the finals, but I think I just had this bigger, I don't know, I had a bigger ceiling for them, I guess, than what they're showing me so far. As I'm watching them play, I don't know, they're like you said, they're just not showing me anything that's going to say, man, I think this team, like we're seeing with Toronto and what we're seeing with, Philly and what we're seeing with some of these teams, like, man, I think that team can be there. I just feel like Milwaukee, the eye test is just not showing me that. I will say, though, the surprising stat is you're talking about three-point shooting, you're talking about, an offensive stat. I couldn't believe when I looked it up, the Bucks are first in offense, 121 points a game, which is pretty surprising to me. I mean, they got some studs in their team, but I don't know. I wasn't expecting them to be that high up, so I think that's a thing to look forward to. I mean, if they're first in offense, that's pretty huge, man.
It makes sense. I mean, because Greek is the most unstoppable force right now in the NBA.
Right.
When it comes to going to the paint, he's even better than LeBron at this point of his career. Because of his strength and his size. The difference between him and LeBron is, like I said, LeBron can shoot, so you have to play LeBron differently. You know what I mean? But if you're pushing the tempo and you're not game planning, I can see them. It is a little surprising they're number 1.
Yeah.
But I can see them scoring buckets. I mean, I watch Milwaukee, and when Greek pushes the tempo, his one-man fast break, he's gone. And it's who's going to step in front of that? Right now, anyways, in a regular season game.
Right. What do you think it would take for that team to become a contender? Do you think they would have to get more 3-point shooting and just continue to spread the floor for Giannis? Because if Giannis can, drive, like you said, basically be unstoppable there, if he could. Because I mean, they got Brook Lopez now, who's stretching the floor a little bit. He was hot there for a little bit, but he's not really doing, crazy things from the stretch 5 that we thought maybe he was going to be able to. Or what do you think they would need?
Man, I think Greek needs to consistently hit a jumper, like just not even be the best at it, but if he can consistently hit a jumper, it's going to force players to play him higher, and I feel like that will allow him to play more like LeBron, dribble past his guy, get a lot of dunks, force the double teams. But if he's not shooting well, I mean, imagine putting Kawhi Leonard on Greek, right? Just imagine this. Kawhi Leonard's IQ is through the roof. He knows that Greek can't shoot. He's just going to sag on him. It will be really hard for Greek. And in the playoffs, Kawhi's going to go all out. He's going to sacrifice his body. In the regular season, you might not see that. You know what I mean? They might not even show their hand. A lot of teams don't even show the matchups they want to put on people because they want to save it for playoff time, So I think what we might be seeing from Greek, which scares me a little bit, is we might be having it's like an inside-out version, but a Harden Westbrook type
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, where the regular season is very dominant, but come playoff time, when they game plan you and they throw those, different traps, different double teams, sag off you, because, dude, they're going to force him to be a shooter. Right now, no one's really forcing him, I don't know what it is. People they don't want to give their best defensive effort in the regular season. I don't know why.
So basically, for them to ever be contender down the road, he's got to learn to shoot.
He's got to learn to shoot, or they got to have another, like a dope shooter on the team, like a Steph. He's got to have somebody else. I mean, Middleton's nice, but I don't even know what's going on with that situation.
He's no Clay or something. Yeah, like that. I get you.
So,
all right, give me one, man. Who you got?
All right, I want your take on the Nuggets.
The Nuggets,
what you got on them? Yeah, let's hear this.
Scrooston Corey, where you at, man? Nuggets hater. You Nuggets hater. Oh, man, the Nuggets, huh?
Oh, did I stump you here?
No, you didn't. You didn't stump me, man. I'm just trying to think. I think they're right in the mix. You know what? I think the Nuggets are a contender.
Wow.
Yeah, I think the Nuggets
number one right now.
I think the Nuggets are the contender. I think they're number one. They're number one in the West. They have, I feel like, in Jokic, the best passing center we've seen in a long time, for sure.
Yeah, I agree.
I feel like the things
that's not even close.
Yeah, that's just the things that team is doing as a unit. Obviously, you see Paul Millsap, somebody who we don't really even pay attention to that much, is winning player of the week, not just like defensive player of the week. We're talking about player of the week. So, you got dudes on that team that are making impacts, and they just gel, man. I just feel like that team gels when I watch them play. I like watching Murray play. I like watching Jokic. I think Paul Millsap is getting a little old. Gary Harris is nice, great player. Yeah, for sure. So I think, man, I do. I got him as a contender. What about you?
Yeah, you know what? If, obviously, like we said, hypothetically, if that one big giant team went down, I could see the Nuggets getting to the finals and pulling it off, because the half-court game with Jokic in the playoffs, we haven't got to see it. That would be fun to watch, right?
That would be fun.
The game slows down and you're giving the ball to your best player, high IQ, high passing, decision maker, and then, put the snipers around him with Gary Harris and Murray, and even Paul Millsap can shoot the three ball. Yeah, I think they'd be scary, man. I'm going to say contender. I love Gary Harris. He's lockdown defender. The big thing with them, for me, would be health. They've already lost Barton.
Yeah.
And you got Gary Harris is been banged up. Last year he missed
Are we getting Isaiah Thomas back at some point?
Right.
Yeah.
But, just Paul Millsap's had injuries.
Yep.
So they just got to stay healthy.
Yeah.
For me,
No, I'm glad you brought up Gary Harris, man. Gary Harris is, he's another one of those guys that's just like quietly good.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys you watch and he's just so smart with what he does. Some of his back cuts I watch are just like at the perfect time. Like he does those little things that people don't realize because it's just like a back cut layup where people are like, oh, cool, he scored. But if like you really watch his timing on some of these cuts, it's awesome, man. He can stretch the floor. He can hit three, so he can do both things. His defense is legit. Yeah, man. Gary Harris is nice for sure. So I'm glad we're on the same page with that one for sure.
Okay. Let me see.
Oh, you got another one? It's your turn all day, huh? Okay, go for it.
No. Yeah, you're up.
Oh, all right. You're right. I didn't know. Shit.
That's on me.
No, you're good, man. All right, man. This team's been struggling a little bit. I think, both of us.
Your Blazers?
Both of us talked. Oh, yeah, you think the Blazers?
You said struggling. Not bad, bro. They were the first team that came to my mind when you said struggling. But go ahead.
Oh, Doug, settle down back there. No, I'm not. The Boston Celtics.
Dang, Doug making fart noises over there? Jeez, okay.
Doug's such a Boston hater. If his wife came in right now, she'd smack him up.
That's true. For me, they're contender. Right now they don't look great, but if you told me that, Golden State was out and I had to go to Vegas and pick a team, I'm gonna pick, most likely I'm gonna pick Boston, who is one of the teams.
For sure.
They're loaded, man. They still got the great coach. A lot of those young kids, I'm just curious to see what they are. But I think Tatum will eventually, show that he's the real deal. I like Boston a lot.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about them on our first podcast. Both of us, picked them to get out of the East. And as I did with Kawhi, I'll admit, sometimes when I'm wrong, it might not be the way that you guys want it, but I'll admit it. And but this one, I'm not ready to admit yet, man. I think I still have them coming out of the East. I still think, they're a contender to me.
Yeah, we both got them as contenders.
They're just depth is so nice, and I just think that it's early. They're still ranked 4th in the league in defense, so I just think their offense is just not clicking. It's not like they're struggling on both ends. They're deep. They're battle tested last year, like we talked about, and I just think once that team gels and they figure it out, and Jason Tatum, Hayward, and Kyrie and Horford, they all learn to play together a little bit better. I just think it's a little bit awkward still for them. They don't know how to play together yet. But I think by the time the season ends and you got Brad Stevens, who is the best coach in the East, for sure, right? Yeah. I don't have a better coach in the East.
I like Stevens.
So you got that.
What's your take on this? Kobe kind of messing with Tatum. You hear about this?
I heard he was helping him. Did he mess with him a little bit?
Well, there's this theory that Kobe basically messed with Tatum's game. Kind of got him to think selfishly.
Really?
To sabotage Boston basically and help his Lakers. That's pretty funny.
That's
right?
funny, man. Yeah, that's funny. Maybe.
It's funny. I don't think Kobe did it on purpose, but I do think there's some truth to this because I feel like for the Boston to be great, Tatum being a Kobe type player isn't going to fit with Kyrie.
True.
So he needs to be more just a different type of play. Play more like KD does with Steph.
Right.
A lot more off ball. Be more more of a dominant shooter. Spot up shooter,
right?
Things like that. You can still take the ball, but playing like Kobe is just a different story. That's the entire offense is through you.
Yeah.
You're, doing fadeaways.
And that's never going to happen when you have Kyrie Irving on your team.
Yeah, especially with a team. They're a pass first team. Their ball movement.
For sure.
So,
do you? Just a kind of a side note on this. Kobe's always talking about wanting the Lakers to win, and he supports LeBron. And he wants this. Do you think deep down Kobe wants to see LeBron James win in LA and win championships in his team, or do you think it's kind of like he doesn't want his era to necessarily end? Because I don't think he necessarily wants to see the Lakers win without him. That's just me.
That's a good question. I've thought about this, but I think he bleeds the purple and gold, and I think he's loyal to the soil, like you always say. And
yeah,
I think
Dame Dollar
he wants
reference.
his Lakers to win. And the biggest problem is LeBron's. If Kobe was being mentioned ahead of LeBron, then maybe, right? Because it's like, dang, I don't want this dude to pass me.
But he could if he ended up winning. Let's say he wins 2 or 3 rings in LA.
No,
doesn't he pass Kobe?
No, you're going backwards on that.
Okay.
I'm saying if Kobe was being mentioned ahead of LeBron, which he's not.
Oh, I get what you're saying.
You see what I'm saying? I'm saying if it was flipped, you're right. If Kobe was being LeBron's still behind Kobe, people don't really view it that way. People are comping LeBron to Jordan and Jordan only, right? So it's like he already passed Kobe. But if it was that, then I could see maybe a little bit like, oh, dude, I don't want this guy to win and pass me up in my own city, Right. But I think Kobe's already accepted the fact, when he comes out and says, let's just appreciate all the greats, That's what Kobe said.
Yeah.
That's you basically admitting, all right, this dude's past me.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think it's all for show. I think he's a businessman. He's a Lakers dude, so he has to say that kind of stuff. I think deep down he doesn't want to see somebody else tear into his legacy. I mean, obviously he's always going to be a legend in LA. I mean, that's going to be there forever. But I just don't think he wants to see a dude, especially this early, especially a dude in LeBron James, to win 2 or 3 championships with the Lakers, and people start being like, it's LeBron, and we start thinking about LeBron, and when we think of the Lakers, I think when the Lakers get named, Kobe still, at least for a little bit longer, wants people to think Kobe Bryant. And if LeBron starts winning some rings, it's not like we're going to forget about Kobe, but it's going to start to be, when we mention the Lakers, it's going to start to be we're mentioning LeBron James all the time, and I would be like, man, this is my city. What are you doing? Deep down, and then when you get on air with somebody else, you'd be like, yeah, you know what? I'm really happy for LeBron James, and I bleed, like you said. I bleed all the time for this team, and I love LA, so that's what it's all about. And he's drinking, Henny with his buddies, and he's like, man, fuck LeBron. That's how I feel. Deep down, I feel that way. So
it's a great take, honestly, and I want to agree with you. Like, you know that. Just Kobe's personality, man. He's just so about winning and just so like loyal. It's just so.
He's about
that's
him winning, though. Him.
Well, he loves his Lakers too, man. I mean, like I said, I want to agree with you, and you're making great points.
Yeah.
But it still hasn't convinced me I can't think that Kobe would not want to see his team win.
Kobe,
you might be onto something.
Kobe, if you're out there, you're listening to our podcast right now, we'll make sure to tag you in this one. Go ahead and jump on air with us, man. Be honest. LeBron ain't going to listen. There's probably not a Lakers follower, in the organization that's listening yet. So you'll be good, man. But, yeah, man, on to you, my dude. It's your turn now.
All right. Let's see. I'm going to ask you a tough one here, okay? A real tough one. You ready for this?
Bring it.
Now, I'm only even asking about this team because you're my partner. They probably wouldn't even have made my list if you weren't.
Really?
Here.
Bring them on. You want to talk about my Portland Trail Blazers?
So what are your Blazers,
Let's
bro?
go.
Are they contenders or pretenders?
Oh, man. You know what?
No bias.
No, I'm not trying to be biased on this, man. I mean, obviously I am. It's hard for me not to think that way. Like you talked about with Kobe, I freaking bleed this team, man, since I was a little kid. I always believe in this team, and I think they're contenders. I believe in Terry Stotts. I believe in Dame Dalla. Doug, this is my time, okay? Laugh about your Lakers on your own time. I'm a believer, man. I definitely think they're a contender. I think they're struggling a little bit now. I think the NBA is about going on runs, and even last year, we had up and down runs. We had a stretch when we went, I think, 17-2 or 17-3, and it was like midway through the year. So people don't understand that the NBA is. It's all about runs. So if Portland all of a sudden goes on one of their 17-2 runs and they're top 2 in the West, everyone's like, oh my God! Just like we're talking about the Denver Nuggets. And if the Denver Nuggets go on a stretch like Portland has right now, all of a sudden we're like, yeah, Denver's just not clicking the way we thought they were. They're now a pretender. So go ahead, Doug. You got something to say about my Blazers. Go for it.
No. I mean, that's kind of the point of this exercise, though, is to get that out of your head,
right?
And whether overall is this team a contender or a pretender?
Yeah, for sure.
We're not talking about runs. We're talking
could you
about
see
the
them
team.
winning a ring if the Warriors were not around?
Absolutely, man. I'm dead serious. Y'all are laughing.
Well,
I'm dead serious. No,
can I
listen.
interject or?
Yeah, go ahead. Interject.
let me
Go for it. Go for it. What do you got to say, man? What you got to say?
I mean, you made some good points. I mean, as good as you could. But
I haven't even made my points yet, but continue.
Let me say you comp them to Denver and both going on runs, but the huge difference I see with Denver is we named a bunch of players we liked: Gary Harris, Jokic, Paul Millsap, Murray. When I think you're Blazers, I think Dame Lillard, and that's it, bro. I'm sorry, man. Like CJ, I don't know, bro. You clown on him too. You're always hating on Nurkic.
I do hate on Nurkic sometimes.
So I mean,
for sure.
I feel like this is a testament to how great Dame is.
Nope.
In my opinion. And I was going to say this earlier, but we got off track and then we moved on. But superstar, to me, Dame's a superstar, and
she better be.
My criteria for superstar, what we should do is, can that player lead a team to relevance on his own?
That'd be dope.
That should be a superstar.
We could call it like poster versus poser or something.
I like that.
If they're a super,
but you know how always
for
like,
sure. That'd be a dope
what's a
ass.
superstar?
No, that'd be a dope ass.
Because like Nate was always like, Clay's a superstar, but
yeah.
It's like, well, dude, if you put Clay on the Blazers right now, is he leading them to the playoffs, or you know what I mean? Like I don't think so.
Take Dame off and put Clay on there. Yeah,
yeah. Can Clay lead a team on his own? We know KD can. We know Steph can. We know Kawhi Leonard can. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, that's superstar. Anthony Davis can. Can you lead a team on your own? So I mean. That should be the criteria for superstar for me.
Yeah. And I can totally understand, why, people don't necessarily buy into the Blazers. It frustrates the hell out of me, when they don't have them, at least in the postseason. That shit drives me nuts because they've proved that wrong enough to where I feel like they deserve people's attention at least a little bit to give them an 8 seed. I can see why people don't have them as contenders or in the finals. I'm not going to blame you guys for being haters. I totally understand.
I got to say they're a pretender.
No, I figured you did after
like
your
Dame.
bullshit rant.
I like Dame, but they're a pretender, bro.
It's just being
for me being real.
This is the thing that people don't necessarily see all the time. It's almost like what Dallas did a few years back. What the Portland Trailblazers have is not a ton of dudes like you talked about with a ton of stars or a ton of dudes where we're like, we love this team. What they have is a team that gels together and a team and a coach that they 100% buy into, which maybe not everybody else does. But they're the type of team where you're not going to see a dude like Eric Gordon being like, we don't have fun here. Everybody that plays there, you talk about Evan Turner, you talk about any of those guys, they're constantly talking about how much they love Dame, how much they love the team, how much they love how they work together, all those things. Those things, to me, if a team can gel in the playoffs and they can come together and you have a dude and you're talking about a superstar in Damian Lillard who can go off in a postseason, don't forget about Game 6, Houston, at Scrooston Corey. Where are you at on that one, huh, buddy? Yeah, don't forget about Dame Dollar and Chandler Parsons, huh?
That's good.
But I'm just saying, if you got a team that's gelling and you have a coach that you can buy into, and Terry Stotts comes up with a dope-ass game plan and it works out, don't say that I didn't say it here first, all right? I'm just saying. Contender. Wow. Give me your reason for a pretender besides they don't have dudes that you like.
Well, I was going to say right off the bat that
say.
Looks like Corey and Corey have something in common, right? You know, their belief in their team.
Yeah.
That's
faith.
The blind faith. I like it.
If that's what you want to call it.
You know, I feel like this league, you need more than one, you know, playoff player. And Dame is a playoff player. You know, CJ's all right.
I don't know. I saw Dirk Nowitzki and Dirk only take out the triple threat. So
that was pretty amazing. Probably the best playoff performance
For
I've
sure.
ever seen. But I mean, he had, you know, God, I don't even want to make this argument because I love just saying that Dirk beat LeBron on his own, you know. But he did have, like, I think at the time, a defensive player in the year, Tyson Chandler at center, you know, protecting the paint. Jason Kidd, the all-time leading assist guy. These are guys I believe in the playoffs, you know. Jason Terry, clutch three-point shooter, who's known for hitting big shots. So, I mean...
But before that run, nobody believed in those guys. And that run made those guys into that.
I mean, I've always thought Jason Kidd was dope.
No, for sure. But I'm just saying, if they don't make that run, it's not as big as what you're saying with Jason Terry. I mean, obviously we know those guys are dope, but that run made them even bigger than they were. You know what I mean?
No, you're right.
So if they go on a crazy run and Nurkic and Nurkic goes off in the playoffs and has some crazy ass, you know, game with 6 blocks that takes him down in Game 7, makes him to a championship, people are like, damn, Nurkic is the real deal. But I'm saying Tyson Chandler wasn't some crazy real deal before that happened. He was good, but it wasn't like Tyson Chandler was like, this guy is the best defensive player in the league, no doubt.
True, but he also wasn't like being posterized and being laughed at by LeBron James.
Stop it.
I'm just saying, bro, like, people make memes on Nurkic, and CJ, we were clowning on the other day, like, trust me, man, if I want to see anybody win, like, that's not KD, it's the Blazers.
Yeah,
I would love to go to games with you.
Appreciate it.
And that's real, bro. You know, I picked the Blazers
sure.
to make the playoffs. I'm not a Blazer hater.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it.
So I'm just giving
that.
you my honest take.
No, and I understand.
And I feel like they're pretenders.
I understand.
But I don't put that on Dame's shoulders. I think he's legit. And I just feel like he needs more help, man. Yeah. And that's the truth. I think Dame needs more help.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know where he's going to get it from.
Yeah, we'll definitely see, man. Like I said, I totally understand, you know, your guys' stance on it and why people see it that way after what happened last year in a sweep and, you know, people questioning Terry Stotts, is he going to get fired, is he not? I totally understand all of that. But from a dude who studies the team left and right, I believe in Terry. Dame believes in Terry. All those guys believe. And even though we got swept, there was no crack in the armor. And so, to me, I could see us coming back and making a playoff run. I still have them in my Western Conference Finals. So, biased or not, I believe in them.
That's what's up.
My turn.
Go for it. Shoot.
I'm going to go with a team that might be better without Kevin Durant, the OKC Thunder. Obviously kidding about the first part, but I figured you were hating on my Blazers. I try to throw something in there. But the Thunder have been killing it, man. So, pretender or contender?
Look, check this out, all right? I can't stand Westbrook, all right? He's a joke. You guys know that. I've always said that you can't win around Westbrook. But I'm going to say contender, baby.
What? Are you shitting me?
I like what I see.
Hell no.
Westbrook's finally taking the back seat that he should be taking.
What?
Letting Paul George shine. Yeah, I know I caught you Caught you on this one. I was waiting for this one. I have it written in my notes. Contender.
Damn, you better relook that notes. You sure you didn't mistype that?
Steven Adams is legit. Dope ass center. One of the probably the strongest center in the league. You know, you see him throwing around people. They finally, what's Robertson?
Robertson.
I don't even know his name. I can't stand the guy.
Name.
Andre.
I think it's Roberson.
Is it actually? You didn't know it either. So
I'm pretty sure it's Robertson. It might be Roberson.
It's Roe Robertson.
Okay, so Doug corrected you
Robertson?
too. Anyways, who cares what his name is?
Doug said he's just kidding. He don't even know. But anyways, continue.
The point is, it's a blessing to have him hurt because his non-spacing ass is just not what a team needs. Not in today's NBA. He can't shoot a lick. You know, who do they got? Grant in his spot, I think. He can 3-and-D, much better piece. I feel like this team is a contender.
I bet neither one of you guys can even name their fucking shooting guard right now.
Their shooting guard?
It ain't happening.
It's not Jeremy Grant?
No, that's their power forward. I wouldn't have been able to name it until
hold on,
up right now, and I'm a big fantasy guy.
Give me a second here.
Is it still Tabo Cephalosha?
No, it's Abrinas or something.
Nope, that's their backup.
Ah, well, that's close.
Terrence Ferguson. You are not going to the damn finals with a kid named Terrence Ferguson. I'm telling you that right now. Not happening.
That's funny.
Terrence Ferguson lit it up in a game last year in the playoffs, I think.
Oh my gosh. But okay, I ain't gonna lie, I'm shocked to hear that, man. I know how much you hate Westbrook. I know how much you think he can't lead a team.
But Paul George can't.
I just feel like they're hungry. They've been clowned on. They were humiliated last year. And they have something that no other team has. The big center who doesn't give a crap about stats, who can just bang with people. LeBron comes in the paint, he's going to bang with him. He's going to
he don't give a shit about stats when he could average 15 rebounds a game. He averages
lets
fucking
Westbrook
5.
get them all. Exactly. So, I mean...
Yeah. No, for sure, man.
I can see this team. I mean, they got the big three, and not a lot of teams have that right now. So,
yeah, man, that's interesting. I think Pretender, man. I'm just not a big believer in Westbrook. I think right now he might be, allowing Paul George to do some things that he wants to do, but come playoff time, Westbrook's going to take the ball. He's going to become Westbrick down the stretch, the same things he did to Kevin Durant, and he's going to shoot his team out of the game. So I feel like when it comes to Westbrook, we talked about it in one of our earlier pods, he doesn't hit dudes in the hands. He has tons of energy, which I love in him, but when it comes to being a point guard, sometimes you got to know when to fucking slow it down, and I just feel like he's just so full pace, man, and I just feel like he's just erratic. And so when it comes into a playoff matchup, when you need him to slow down the game and you're up 7 with 1:45 left and he decides to shoot a 3 with 9 seconds left on the shot clock instead of running it down and getting the best play, it's like I just feel like he's going to do the same things he's done his whole career. I don't believe in Westbrook ever winning a championship, so I'm going to go Pretender on this one. So
I can't hate on that because I can't stand Westbrook. Yeah. So I mean, it was borderline for me, but I think Paul George is a lot better player than people think. A lot of people clown on him. And
man, his game
they called him a third fiddle when he was, or what was it when he was signed with LA? Nobody wanted him.
Yeah,
I'm like thinking in my head like, dude, this dude pushed LeBron for years with nobody. Who was his second best player? Roy Hibbert. Like, the dude has never played with nobody. And
George Hill.
I'm just saying, like, the Pacers were so overrated.
Lance Stevenson.
Yeah, Lance Stevenson would probably
make him dance, Lance.
Right?
Yeah.
But what's funny is for Paul George, Lance Stevenson was his second best player. But for LeBron, that's his sixth best player. But LeBron has no help. You see the difference?
True.
In how people view things?
Yeah, I do see the difference between 2013 and 2018.
Well, what's funny is Lance the last couple of years played better than he did back then. So, I mean, right?
He needs to start blowing in some ears and talking a little more crap, I guess.
Blowing in the ear. That's funny.
So, wow, man. Okay, yeah.
Well, we talked about this earlier, remember? The LeBron James effect.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I was telling Corey how it's funny, actually, let's go into this subject a little bit. We name some
Take
teams.
a little break from this.
Take a little break from this, yeah.
For sure. well, tell us about the Kevin Durant thing. I
Well,
know
you
Kevin
guys-
Durant made some comments.
I know everybody's heard about it. It's
Yep.
all over.
It's all over,
Basically,
yeah.
KD, saying that playing with LeBron is toxic environment, and a lot of it's because of the media. He's not blaming LeBron, but he blames the media. And what's your take? You agree with this?
Man, I honestly absolutely agree with it. I talk about it all the time. I feel like
It's something we've been saying for a long time, right?
it's something we've been saying for a long time, man. I just feel like everyone says everybody wants to play with LeBron, and I don't buy into this, man. Like I talked about a couple weeks ago when Kyrie hit a game winner, man. It becomes, and in those moments, it's not always LeBron's fault. I'm not saying it's always LeBron's fault. Part
The
of it,
media.
like Kevin
The
Durant
media
said,
is.
media is a massive, part of that. So I'm not saying it's all LeBron, but Kyrie gets no credit. He hits the shot of his life. I'm talking the shot of his life in the
clutchest
biggest
shots
game
ever.
Right.
It is one of the clutchest shots ever.
Over a team that has dominated for the last few years, the super team, and he gets no credit for it, man. It was all LeBron. LeBron the next day was wearing the Warrior shirt, and it's LeBron, and LeBron with the trophy after the game, and LeBron interview, and LeBron stepping off the plane, and LeBron taking a shit, and LeBron, it's dude, does everybody
Bro,
forget?
hey, let's
No
be real.
one.
If LeBron hits that shot, how many commercials are made?
Oh my God.
How many commercials?
Dude. Oh, yeah.
So, I'm with you on that.
Poor Kyrie's got to create, which is an awesome commercial,
I
but
love that
poor
commercial.
Kyrie's got to
I told you to
create
watch
one with
that
his
one.
dad because the media ain't showing up for him, man. The media ain't creating no freaking PowerPoint for that kid, poor dude. So I agree with you, man, and I agree with Kevin Durant. I don't know why Kevin Durant necessarily it's only media because I did say that it's not always LeBron's fault, but part of it I do think is LeBron's fault.
LeBron feeds into it.
Absolutely.
When the media comes at him with the whole, you're the only one carrying, blah, 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 he doesn't deny it. He doesn't say, and it's funny because after these comments came out, I'm sure you heard his interview after that Lakers win when he dropped 40-something. He had a good game.
Yeah.
LeBron balled out in that game. And they wanted to ask him about it, and he's like, I don't want to talk about me. Let's talk about my teammates. Lonzo hit a 3. Let Stevenson hit a 3. Jay Hart hit 2 threes. Yeah, bro.
Now all of a
Why
sudden
are you
he's giving
doing
his
that? Now
team-
all of a sudden you're trying to
Yeah.
bring up your teammates? You ain't never done that your whole career, bro. Don't start now, okay? We all know that's phony as fuck.
I
Can't stand that shit. I hate phony, bro.
Yeah.
Be you. I hate that fake shit. So, LeBron's totally... I was at a loss for words when I seen that. I was like, bro, just take all the credit like you normally do. And what's funny is this was the game where he could have, because he actually scored 20-something in the fourth. And it was basically him,
Right.
But now all of a sudden he wants to thank his teammates, But it's too late for that,
Yeah.
The media is used to what he does.
Oh, man, I've talked to you about this a few times, man. Just watching his interviews. Let's just act out an interview real quick. You be LeBron.
Oh,
Just
me
real
be
quick.
LeBron, you be LeBron.
You be LeBron. You go with that?
Yeah, I'm good with it. Go
Okay.
for it.
All right, LeBron. You had a great game tonight. You played the Denver Nuggets. They're a hot team, but you scored 42. You guys pulled off the win, and you had a great fourth quarter to close it out. What do you think about the game tonight?
I think I can score 42 anytime. I can play heavy minutes, low minutes, doesn't matter. I'm going to score 42. You know that. You know me. You guys know me. You guys know who I am.
Yeah, that's true. So let's
You guys
talk.
know what I'm about.
Let's talk about the rest of your team. Who do you feel like had a big impact for you guys? You feel like Josh Hart hit a couple late threes for you guys. Some of your young guys. How do you feel like they're progressing?
Next question.
Okay, back to you, LeBron. Is it just me, or is it actually like that, Doug? Obviously, you've been a LeBron guy, and now you're a Lakers guy. Is it just me, or is every time?
Yeah, bro, you're pro
been a
LeBron.
Lakers guy.
And you've always loved LeBron.
But you've loved LeBron for a little bit. You've defended him even before he
Yeah.
came
What are
to
his
Lakers.
interviews like, bro?
Is
Come
it
on.
just to us, or is it like that?
That's obvious satire. No.
That's not his exact interview.
No, but you could say, he does do really canned interviews. It's pretty straightforward. Nothing, he's not going to say anything too real, for the most part. And he knows that when he does, if he says something, he gets totally skewered for it, by guys like
Doesn't
you.
he seem like to you, right? To you,
No,
does
but
it
it's
seem
true.
like...
He said some dumb stuff
So
before.
I really
But
want
for
to
the
know this
most part,
because...
he's like, it's like Russell Wilson, where it's just like, you pretty much told me nothing, It's just canned response.
I just feel like, and I want to know, is it just me hating on LeBron? Because I've talked about this with Pete. Obviously, I'm very biased, and it's like one of those things when you really dislike somebody.
Well,
everything they do bothers you, right?
Okay, well, let's break this down. Let's let our listeners know, because I don't want them to think we're just LeBron haters and we just don't want to see LeBron
you
win.
You don't want them to know the truth, or what?
That's funny, but let's break down why we don't like LeBron, because I think you view this the same way I do. I don't dislike LeBron because of his game. He's a straight baller. Okay, he's a hooper. He's one of the best players of all time.
MVP
I don't think he's
conversation.
in the MVP conversation right now. Yeah, I don't think he's better than Kevin Durant. And I would pick a couple other players over him right now. But there's been years where he was the best player on the planet. I obviously know that.
Yep.
And he's a straight baller. Things I don't like, and this is what's funny, because most of his fans have the same views as me. All my friends, Kiosha, my buddy JD, all these guys that I grew up with. They're ballers. They don't flop. They're not phony. And that's the shit I can't stand. The flopping. The getting blocked cleanly and then yelling at the ref, berating the ref when you obviously got swatted cleanly. I can't stand that. You're the best player on the planet, born with the best gifts ever. And you still want the competitive advantage to lying to the refs about every call? That's the shit I can't stand, dude. When you act like that, when you flop around about everything and you're winking and think it's funny because you tricked the ref, I'm not going to like you. When you are so into yourself that you never thank your teammates, I'm not going to like you. Like, those are the things I can't stand. Those are the reasons why I've learned to hate LeBron. Yeah. It's not because he's a great person off the court with the kids and all that stuff.
The school
he's a great player on the court, but he's a phony, and I just don't like phony.
Yeah. I'm the same way. We talked about this many times, just me and you, but I'm the exact same way. The crybaby stuff, the all about me stuff, that stuff drives me nuts. And it's like, he gets an and one, like it's 7-2, and they're playing the Phoenix Suns. He gets an and one in LA, and he acts like he's just won the championship. It was the biggest and one of all time. I'm the strongest guy in the world. This guy, Booker was holding onto my arm, and I still made the layup. It's like, stop it.
Or when he hit the game winner over the Pacers.
The game winner over the Pacers, and he's jumping on the freaking, the media stand there, and he's jumping on the table like, oh my gosh, pounding his chest. It's like, bro, you've already won a championship. You've already won multiple championships. You just won a first-round series against the Indiana Pacers. That's the stuff that drives me nuts. It's like, humble yourself just a little bit.
Yeah.
So,
well, yeah, I got some funny things, to bring up when it comes to LeBron and the media. Because, tell me this, okay? A lot of people don't view things like this, but I pay attention to the little details. Okay. We'll bring up Kevin Durant, because I'm a Kevin Durant fan. When Kevin Durant lost with the Thunder, right? What was the headline? When he lost in the finals to the Heat, what was the headline?
Oh, Kevin Durant.
Kevin
Durant's fault. What did Kevin Durant do wrong?
Scored 31 on 51% shooting, right?
Yep.
But who took the blame? Which is understandable. The best player should take the blame, right?
Kevin Durant.
Okay. Last year, Paul George was straight trash, right? In the playoffs.
Right.
Who got the heat? Westbrook, right?
Westbrook
got the heat because he's the best player on the team. So why is it that every best player on the team, no matter how good they play, KD balled out in the finals, no matter how good they play, they're the ones that take the blame. They're the ones that get hit by the media. But when LeBron loses, it's always his teammates' faults. Always.
Chris Bosh.
Always. Kevin Love can't hit a shot. What about when Russell Westbrook couldn't hit a shot and shot 30% for KD? How come no one brought that up?
Or when James
How come
Harden
that wasn't a big story? When James Harden, I don't get why it's only a big story when LeBron's teammates can't play well. You see what I'm saying? Because everyone's going to say, well, it's hard to hate on LeBron when he's averaging a triple-double or when he's scoring those crazy stat lines. That's true, but you know what? Kevin Durant has crazy stat lines every time he loses, too.
Which is exact stuff that Kevin Durant was talking about with the media, man. It makes it hard to play with LeBron.
Yeah,
if you win,
he gets all the credit.
LeBron's credit. No matter how good you play, no matter if you hit a shot like Kyrie did and you win a Game 7, it doesn't matter.
Or Ray Allen, clutchest shot ever.
LeBron's going to get the credit. If you lose, if you're Kevin Love and you have a bad series, or you're Chris Bosh and you disappear for a little bit, it's your fault. You're the third guy. You should have played better. You cost LeBron a ring.
Yep.
LeBron would be, 9-0 in finals if Chris Bosh never came across his life. It's like, I'm with you, man. That's the stuff that Kevin Durant's talking about, and it's not all on LeBron. Part of it is, but it is the media, man. They do twist it that way.
The only thing I hate about KD is he should have owned it, and he knows it damn well that LeBron is a big part of it. So him to puss out like that, and not say oh, it's not LeBron's fault. I thought that was a bitch move.
Well,
he might be KD. So
yep, for sure. All right, we also want to give a little shout out to Scott Bogman and the Welsh at the In This League podcast. You can follow them at In This League Pod. They gave us a quick shout out on their last podcast. Our producer has spoken to them a couple of times, and he got inspired by the things that they're doing over there, and so he's helped us get this thing up and running. So go over and give them a follow. We appreciate you guys giving us a shout out, and hopefully you checked it out. And these guys are legit in fantasy basketball. Our producer showed us their stuff, and I'm a big fantasy guy. Obviously Pete's a big fantasy guy. We talk about it all the time, and we started listening to your guys' stuff, and we're already learning some things and passing them on. So hopefully we can continue to get together in the future, maybe get on a podcast with you guys and spit some fantasy basketball, and maybe get you guys on a podcast with us sometime. So we appreciate it, and yeah. All right, man. Well, let's now that we jump down LeBron's throat like we'd like to almost every single time on our podcast, let's jump back into a couple more contender versus pretenders.
All right, let me hear your take on Philly.
Philly.
Just added Butler.
Philly cheesesteak. I think Philly. You guys don't like my Philly cheesesteak
now. Yeah. I'm thinking Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Sorry, I got a little excited. Damn, I'm hungry.
All right, I'm kind of hungry.
Even though Dougie gave us some pizza, I'm still a little hungry now. We've been in here for like
6 hours.
Talking. We're supposed to start a podcast 5 hours ago, and we talked, and then we realized we should start a podcast. So, you know what, man? I have Philly as contender.
You don't sound too confident.
I have Philly as contender. I had to think about it because they're on the brink. They're on the brink, man. They're on the brink.
I like it.
But I have them as contender. They're gonna have to rely on Jimmy Butler and Joel Embiid. Ben Simmons is gonna have to be okay with being Chris Bosh and Kevin Love and let that be a thing and be all right with it. And if that happens, what I've been seeing from the Jimmy Butler trade, and Jimmy Butler's he seems electrified since getting to Philly. It's super good on the defensive end. He's already hit two big game winners.
Yeah.
I mean, nice game winners too, not like little dinky layups. I mean, nice pull-up buzzer beaters. So I just feel like he's excited. He's having he's going to have a big year now, and I think what we've talked about with Joel Embiid, you have a savage down low on both ends of the floor, and I think in this league, like you talked about with Steven Adams, having a beast down low that can do those things is massive. So if Ben Simmons can take a back seat and be okay not getting crazy stat lines in the playoffs, still do his thing, obviously, dropping dimes and stuff, but other than that, man, I don't know. What do you think?
I got them as pretenders.
I knew it, man. I knew it. Your look right there.
It comes back to the, you made a good point. Like, oh, hey, can Ben Simmons play the Chris Bosh, Kevin Love role? He can't. Because guess what? He can't shoot. That's the problem. To play that role, you have to be able to stand and shoot. And Ben Simmons can't shoot. So that's the problem. He can't play that third fiddle role. And I'm watching the games, and I see Embiid get into the post, and they're instantly sending doubles off Simmons, and he's just getting, tortured in the post. And it's only going to get worse in the playoffs. Those double teams are going to come that much faster, that much more often. And if Simmons could just spot up shoot at all, this team would be scary. But I just cannot believe in a team when one of their main ball handlers can't shoot. So I got him as a pretender.
All right, man. I understand.
Yeah.
I think, them trading Sarge and Covington and losing Covington as a shooter and, his defensive presence is tough. I mean, obviously they got Jimmy Butler, but he's killing it in Minnesota. I mean, JJ Redick's about the only guy that can stretch the floor for him, and I think that could be the thing, like you said, with not having Ben Simmons being able to shoot, could be the thing that stops him from getting there. Okay, let's jump into Toronto. Let's stay in the East, man. Toronto. I know Doug's been waiting all night for us to talk about Toronto. What was that? Some gang sign you're sending to us, or what?
He's waiting for the Lakers, fool.
Do we even have the Lakers on the list? We're talking about contenders here, I thought. Okay.
All right. Let's go. Toronto, man. Wow. Okay. I'm gonna say contender. And I'm sure most people will. So this isn't like bold statement or anything like that. I got Kawhi Leonard's balling out. He's probably the front runner for MVP right now. Let's be real. Number 1 seed, best record in the NBA. So yeah, I got to go with them being contenders. You're telling me if the Warriors were gone, they might be one of the teams I put the most money on. Yeah. So you got those young kids balling out. Siakam, and I know Kyle Lowry's struggling a little bit, but he's streaky. He'll turn it back on, and he plays good defense. He takes charges and he gets dirty. Another underrated move that nobody really talks about is Danny Green, man. Danny Green coming over in that trade was huge, bro. Plays hard defense. He's actually the one that rotated off Simmons and swatted Embiid in the game they played the other night. So his helps ID is money.
Yeah,
he just came right over. Embiid went up thinking he's open, in the post, and Danny Green came over and just swatted that. So
and I think a lot of people underestimate how good Danny Green. His defensive presence is nice, man.
The IQ. He knows how to rotate. He knows when to rotate. He knows when to help. He knows when to show, when to pinch. Because, playing in Popovich's system, you have to do all those little things. So that's why him and Leonard being over there, they're already defensive ready. They're big-time defensive players, big-time IQ. And then you add them with someone like an Ibaka, a Siakam, Kyle Lowry. They all like to play defense. That team's scary because they got defense. They got an MVP caliber player. They got a Robin and Kyle Lowry. They got the role players who will hit shots in the playoffs, as you saw against the Warriors. Siakam hit a clutch 3. Mm-hmm. You need that stuff. So Ibaka can swap some shots too. And what's his name? Jonas.
Yeah, Jonas is nice.
Dude, he owned Embiid.
Yeah.
Did you guys see that game?
I didn't see it.
He owned Embiid, man. It was pretty embarrassing. I'm surprised he didn't go on Twitter and call him out. Yeah, he was beasting him. So,
yeah, man. Obviously, as you said it, I think most people would have Toronto as a contender, and I'm right there with you. I think, as you touched on with Danny Green, one of those guys that coming from the Pop system, it's just cool how he's one of those guys that's just like he can shoot like 2 for 3 and score 6 points and be like a major impact without people realizing it, and he'll be like cool with it. He's not one of those guys that's like, I need to get my shots up. I need to shoot, at least 10 times a game. He's like, there's times where I feel like he shoots like 2 shots, and he's cool with it. So having a guy like that, in a system, I think I'm right there with you, man. All those guys you named, I think you did a great job. Yeah, dude, Toronto, contender.
Yeah, we're both on that one. All right, let's do a couple more here.
Okay.
All right, let's just go to one city here. All right.
Oh man,
we can do a couple teams there.
New York, huh?
That's funny. All right, I want to start you off with the Clippers. Contender or pretender?
Pretender. Yeah, man. I think the Clippers are a pretender, man. I think they have enough to where they have a shot at making the postseason. But if we're talking about making a championship run, I can't. I don't know. I can't buy into that. Like you talked about, on your end with Portland. If you want to talk about a team with really nobody, you're talking about Lou Williams, Tobias Harris. some dudes that would be nice role players for a team. But yeah, he'll be hurt in a couple weeks, which is exactly why I got him off my fantasy team. But other than that, Harrell's been nice. We've been talking about him the last couple weeks and stuff like that. But other than that, man, I just can't see this team. I don't like Doc Rivers, to be honest, so I don't see him bringing this team to a championship. They don't have enough. What about you?
I actually like Doc Rivers, But I'm with you. They're a pretender. You know, in this league, you have to have some kind of star power, and they just don't. When Lou Williams is your biggest name, you're not going to win a ring. You know, it's just not going to happen. And I like the players. I like what they're doing. You know, if they get lucky, they could eliminate someone in the playoffs playing some hard-nosed defense and stuff, but they're not going to win 3 series. They're not going to go deep. So, yeah, they're definitely a pretender for me.
So, I assume since you said we're sticking with the same city and we're picking 2 different teams, I guess we'll talk about them.
Let's finish the segment up with them.
Let's do it, man. What do you think about the LA Dodgers? I mean...
That was good.
Sorry about that, man. Okay. You want to talk about them? Let's talk about them. LA Lakers. Contender or pretender?
Listen, man, you know I hate LeBron, okay?
Dougie in the house. He's waiting. Look at Doug sweating over there.
LeBron James. They ain't got shooting. Their coach is young.
Here's where he comes and says, but
as much as I hate LeBron James, they're a contender.
Wow.
You know, my big thing is the older I get, the more I realize the value of there's just different levels. Remember I was telling you I wanted to do this thing where we rank players like regular season and playoff? Mm-hmm. Like, to me, KD and LeBron, and I hate to say this because I don't like LeBron, they're the only 2 players in the world who are straight 10s come playoff time. Mm-hmm. That's how I feel, man. Like LeBron, you know, I may have him as the 4th best player or whatever, but come playoffs, I got him second. You know, it's the truth.
Yeah.
I mean, people could probably still hate, but at least I have him second, you know. I got him second behind Durant, and, you know, it's a close margin. It's just LeBron is so dominant in the playoffs, and it's because the game slows down, the half-court offense, and you got to stop LeBron's drive to the rim, and it's just very hard to stop. So if you tell me, like, you know, you got, who is it, Denver versus the Lakers, 8 versus a 1 seed, I'm not going to bet my house that Denver's going to beat them.
Yeah.
Because they got LeBron James, you know? And LeBron is a baller. So I may hate on the guy, but I know what he's capable of. And come playoff time, the funny thing is I could see LeBron not making the playoffs. At that, I still could see. Right. Because playoff and regular season are 2 different things. It's just like with KD. You know, if KD was on the Warriors by himself, you know, or with just him and Clay, I could see them being a low seed, you know, but I could still see them winning because they got KD. It's just, you know, but with Curry, it's different. He's just such a great regular season player. He's going to get you more wins.
Yeah. Curry's the type of guy you could see getting a 1 or 2 seed, but still losing first round.
Like a Damian Lillard. I hate, you know, no diss to your boy, but he's so good. But come playoff time, you know, when the game slows down, you'd much rather have a Kevin Durant.
Don't forget about Game 6. Houston. I was there.
You know,
no, but I get it.
You know what I'm saying? It's just these guards.
I get what you're saying.
The guards aren't as dominant in the playoffs.
Right.
Look at there's a track record. Damian Lillard, Steph Curry, James Harden, Russell Westbrook. The list goes on. And people are going to say, oh, well, they still had good stats. I'm not dissing them. I'm not saying they were trash. But they go from an A to a B. And that's a drop-off. No matter how you slice it, right? Yeah. If you're playing at an A level in the regular season and your game goes to a B, yet Kawhi Leonard, Kevin Durant, LeBron James are playing at an A level and their game goes to an A+, who is the better player?
Right.
You know, playoff is crunch time.
Yeah.
That's where it counts. So,
yeah, it makes sense, man. I'm honestly impressed and proud of you for it might be the first time in our friendship that I've heard you give LeBron James some credit. So
I just gotta keep it real, bro.
You've given him credit before, man. You're a realist, and you know, I can appreciate that. Oh man.
What about you? What do you got him?
Pretender.
Oh, you're the guy on this segment. Wow.
Yeah, I'm just saying, man.
Dang. So you're telling me you'd bet your house that Denver would take out the Lakers?
I'm not saying that Denver would take out the Lakers. I'm just saying with the squad they got and a young team that's never been in the playoffs besides LeBron James, really. Tyson Chandler, I guess. give JaVale McGee some credit, but I'm sure he'll be injured soon. I just can't see that team and the way it's built. I've talked about this before. I don't know, man. Everyone loves Brandon Ingram. I think Brandon Ingram's pretty dope, but next to LeBron James in this year, I just don't see Brandon Ingram being anything that's that impactful. And would you say who's their number 2? Would you say Brandon Ingram's their second best player?
Man.
I mean,
it depends because talent-wise, Ingram's obviously the second best talent. But to fit LeBron, it'd probably be Kuzma.
right?
You know, he's probably their second best player.
I don't know, man. I just watching them. I don't know. I just can't seem to buy into what they got going on. Obviously, I'm with you, man. LeBron is a stud. As much as we both love to hate on him, he is in my eyes, like you said, still top. To me, probably top 3, possibly still number 2, and to a lot of people, number 1 still. So I'm with you. I wouldn't necessarily be shocked. I don't know if I would bet my house on them not getting it, but big part of me just doesn't believe in the way that team is built. And with LeBron, I think you got to surround him with some shooters, and he doesn't have that right now. They definitely could make a trade, and they definitely might be able to make some of that stuff happen. But I won't be surprised to see him, like I said, in the ninth seed to end the year. So it's gonna be hard to win a championship from the 9th seed.
Honestly, I'm with you. If they don't make I could see them not making the playoffs. But the problem is if they make the playoffs, the way. The game, they just love LeBron, bro. Like, he's going to get to the foul line. He's going to get in the paint.
And the
game's going to slow down.
No Warriors, man. He'd smell blood. It'd be tough.
Yeah,
I'm with you. It would be tough.
How many times have we bet against LeBron and he's proved us wrong?
You're right. Maybe I should stop doing
granted, that was
Maybe
the
I should
East.
Stop doing it. So
I don't know, man.
I'll stick with Contender, but I see what you're.
I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah, I hope you are too.
I hope he gets eliminated in the first round by the Denver Nuggets.
Right.
Then I can laugh and be like, I told y'all the East was overrated.
Yeah, I feel you, man.
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
That was fun, dude. I thought that was a great segment. It was cool to debate with you a little bit and welcome you back from Hawaii, man. It's great having you back, dude. As always, this has been a pleasure to do this with you.
Yeah, bro. This has been a blast, dude. I love doing this with you guys, man. We love sports. You guys know me, man. That's all I do is all sports.
Yep. I feel you. And as always, basketball. shoot us a follow. One Limitless Range or. Hit us up, and maybe we can have you on a podcast. I know our producer's done a great job. He's set up a call line now, so we'll probably start utilizing that a little bit and shooting that out. But at whatever your name was, I forgot about it by now. But if you want to jump on the podcast at some point, talk Houston, man, it'd be fun. That's all we love to do. So peace out. Rip City.